Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Astro Fenixx here with Mystical Illuminations. And real quick, I wanted to share with you all some things that I found out yesterday. Because I'm an astro nerd, so I'll spend time just looking at charts and seeing if I can actually find anything and stuff. And oh boy, did I find a lot that's going on this week. We have a very powerful week ahead. I'm going to do my best to not take too much time with this because I got to go to work in like 30 minutes. So it's easy for me to ramble on and stuff like that. But if I could give you a basic synopsis of this week, is that we are opening up a door that has not been opened in 50 years. Okay, we're opening up a door that has not been opened in 50 years, and this is going to have major impacts on the world going forward. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see something huge happen in the news, although it definitely could happen. That doesn't mean that the aliens are just going to suddenly show up this week, although that could happen. But after looking at this astrology and looking at the transits and seeing what's happening, I just had to share with you all because I think that this is such a big deal. I think this is such a huge moment for us all this week to really open up the door and to not only immediately grab a victory, but to just like move forward in such a powerful way that's just going to make the fact known that you are connected to the divine, that you are connected to source, that you are that co-creator, and that you can really do, in many ways, anything that you ever wanted to. It's going to make that very apparent. Now, of course, there are going to be challenges, there are going to be restrictions, there are going to be things that may seemingly hold us back. I think this week is a powerful moment of us getting our power, us immediately coming up against some opposition, if you will. And then if you have the wherewithal and if you allow yourself to not be ruled by not to be completely ruled by your emotions or to not be completely ruled by your ego, that you will be able to push forward through this challenge and really make something of yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into this and show you guys just what I saw. So as you can see right now, we do have the moon here, conjunct Uranus at 9 degrees, almost exact. It's 42 solar minutes and 45 solar minutes. Other interesting thing is that you have Chiron here at 9 degrees. But I'm going to take this back to the time of that new moon because that's really important here. Let's take it back to the time of that new moon, which occurred on April 11th at 22 degrees of Aries. Now, this was a huge moment because this was a quantum shift. Anytime that you get anything that adds up to a 4, you're talking about Uranian kind of energy. So with that Uranian kind of energy, and of course today actually is ruled by Uranus numerology-wise because it's the 13th of the month. So 1 + 3 is 4. So it's a very Uranian kind of day actually that I'm making this. This is going to be a breakthrough of your ego in a sense of, the way that you initiate things, the way that you take action, the way that you move things forward, the way that you spark off things. There was many ways a quantum shift that happened on this new moon. Some of you felt it 3 days before. Some of you felt it 3 days after. I felt it. I definitely got the energy beforehand. Definitely got the energy beforehand. But I want you guys to notice something, and it's going to seem kind of simple, but it's really actually not. Now, I want to move the day forward. Okay, here's the 14th. As you can see, Venus has ingressed into Taurus. So Venus will be home in Taurus. So it likes to be there. What's awesome, too, is that the moon is going to be in Taurus as Venus makes this shift. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to be a nice, very grounding energy. You have something at the front, something at the back, or whichever way you want to kind of look at it. So let's move this forward. And as you can see, Mercury is gaining on the sun. Mercury is gaining on the sun. The moon's going to cross over the North Node and Mars. That's going to be over the next few days that we're going to experience that energy, and it's going to move into Cancer. And now this is really, I would say Saturday is going to be really the day where we go into the boss's lair. That's the way that I see it anyways. We're going to go into the boss's lair, or at the very least, we're about to face off against the big boss. Now, as we continue to move this forward, you're going to see this right here. You're going to see the Sun and Mercury conjunct at 29 degrees of Aries. Now, this is why this is important, guys. Anytime that you get to the last degree of a sign, it's going to be intense. It's going to have elements of the next sign in it, but it's going to be intense because everything's coming to a head, literally. Aries rules the head. Actually, I guess if anything, everything's going to be coming to like our chin. So this is actually a chin up kind of moment, because as these energies begin to shift out of Aries and leave Chiron behind, which is at 10 degrees, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, this is going to be sort of like a chin up moment kind of by the universe. You know, there was like this interesting meme that went around. It was like a college basketball player he was a college basketball player at the time, and there was this GIF, I guess, where I guess something had happened in the game and he was frustrated, and one of his teammates came up and lifted his head up. This dude recently got like signed in the NBA, like he got like a new contract, and he got like a pretty decent sized contract. So it's like this moment right here is going to be sort of like the universe in many ways lifting that chin up and be like, hey, you can do this too. Hey, yeah, your ego has been bruised and these things have happened to you. Hey, yeah, you may have some trauma. You know, Chiron here in Aries, you know, as all those energies went over Chiron, it made us aware of our trauma, especially when the sun hit that spot. So this is sort of, in my opinion, this is a chin up kind of way. The reason why it's a chin up kind of way, because if you're like this, your throat chakra is going to get blocked. This is a moment where it's like, hey, chin up. It's okay. It's all good. I know that there are challenges. I know it's been tough. I know there's been a lot of energy out there. And some of y'all thrive in this. Some of y'all thrive in the amount of buzz and energy that's out there. But some people, kind of like myself, you know, that are maybe a little more sensitive and stuff like that, you know, it can be harder for us. And sometimes we might want to close ourselves off and like put our chin down. And if you think about it, if we're like this all the time, your throat chakra is in many ways being blocked by your chin, which is part of your ego in a sense. So chin up. Everything's good. It's okay. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. As these energies, like I said, they're going to move into Taurus, and we're going to get this stellium that occurs in Taurus. The Mercury is going to shift there first, and then as I move this forward by the hour, you're going to see this. You're going to see the sun also shift into Taurus. On the 19th, you're going to see that. It's going to shift into Taurus. Now that we have all of this Taurus energy, we have left Chiron behind in Aries at 10 degrees. And the moon, I want to say actually that the moon's going to be at like 24 degrees. Yeah, it's going to be at 24 degrees the moment that the sun enters into Taurus. And it's going to begin this opposition over to Pluto. This is the boss battle that I'm talking about, okay, guys? Now, Chiron is at 10 degrees. Why is this important? Chiron retrograded last year. I want to say it retrograded at 9 degrees. It didn't make it to 10 degrees, meaning that we have not seen Chiron at 10 degrees of Aries since 1970. This is a 50, and I'll show you guys this. Well, we can even go, let's go back to last year. Let's go back to when Chiron retrograded in the first place. Go back, come on, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Bam. Okay. Now we can see this, 9 degrees. Now, if we move this forward just a few days, we're going to see our Mars is now at home in Aries. We're going to have Chiron at 9 degrees, and it's slowed down. It's slow. It's slow. It's moving at a snail's pace. Then you have, look at this, guys. As Mars comes on top of Chiron, as the moon came on top of Chiron, I want to say it was around this day that Chiron actually retrograded. You saw that happen? You saw that shift right there? On July 11th of last year, we experienced the moon conjunct Chiron with Mars there as Chiron went retrograde. Now, here's what's interesting. This was at 9 degrees. 9 is actually the number of Mars in numerology. It's, in many ways, it represents the sort of completion, but also represents the step to the next level to 10, to 2 digits, which technically 10 doesn't really exist if you really think about it. So this is a huge moment, because when we experience Mars on top of Chiron with the moon there and Chiron went retrograde, this was the moment where the universe was like literally forcing everyone to look at their own subconscious shit when it comes to their ego and the way that they initiate and act on things. It turned everyone inward, which was very difficult to do. It was very difficult to do that. And we all probably experienced some challenges. But because it didn't get to 10 degrees, because it didn't make it to that second decan, we didn't get to open the door. It's like we had the key, and look at Chiron. The glyph is a key. I wonder if I can make this like a little bit, I wanted to go out. Thank you. That's what I meant to do. I wish I could make it clearer. Now, the glyph of this is a key. So it's literally we had the key inside the door, and we were about to open it. We were even unlocking it a little bit, right? It's 26 solar minutes, so we got about a quarter of the way there, and then the universe is like, nope, you're not ready to open up that door yet. You're not ready yet. Nope, you're not ready yet. So retrograde. We didn't even make it to 10 degrees. We didn't even open the door to the rest of Aries energy. Now, Chiron has healed the first decan, which is the self. And anytime you get through the first 10 degrees, it's primarily focused on the self. The second 10 degrees, I would like to say, is more focused on people in your direct life, people in your life, in your direct vicinity, and even in like your community. And the last 10 degrees represents the world and the universe at large. So when it comes to Chiron, the wounded healer, and this Aries like energy, we didn't even get out of the first decan because we had to go back before we brought a new polished, healed self forward. And when I even say polished here, I mean that like parts of you may be polished and parts of you may not be polished, because Chiron still has to go through the rest of Aries, right? We did not get this energy. We did not get a chance to open up the door fully. And even if you really think about it, if you look at the number 10, you have a 0 there. So you have a placeholder there. So it's like literally like the door, and then there's a 0. Like you open up the door, and then bam, there's a portal. If that makes any sense. It's like, say if you're looking at a door this way, and then you're opening it, and then you have the door, you're looking at it like this, so as it's open, and then there's a portal right there. That's what this was. We didn't get a chance to do this. When was the last time that this happened? The last time that we experienced this energy, my friends, was in 1970. Around that time was the last time that we got this. Let's go back about a month or so. I want to say it was around this time because I know that Chiron retrograded. I want to say it retrograded before it did this. The moon came over. Let's see. Let's go forward a month. Yeah. So here's the funny thing about it too, is that back in 1970, Chiron retrograded on the 10th degree. So it's like back then, the door was opened, but we didn't explore too much into that space. Look at that. July 13th, Chiron retrograde at 10 degrees. This was the last time that we experienced Chiron at 10 degrees. I mean, it came into that about, I think Chiron spends about 18 or so days at a degree. Mind you, we've been experiencing Chiron at 9 degrees since the end of March. I think March 31st was when Chiron reached that degree, and now we're going to experience the ingress in 10 degrees. But we've been at this energy for about 3 weeks now. So as you can see, when this happened, the moon was over here in Scorpio. Yeah, Saturn that was in Taurus. The North Node was opposing Venus, and you had this giant stellium in Cancer instead. Here's the cool thing about this, is that this stellium in Cancer was actually preparing us subconsciously for this upcoming battle. Now, if you weren't born during this time, then that's when it comes down to your elders, your parents, people like that were alive during this time. That might have been one of your past lives for all we know. But this energy right here is actually preparing us for the boss battle. I like to say that this, in many ways, the Sun with Mars and Mercury here, I kind of see this as guardian angel kind of energy. It's sort of like, oh, well, people have played this game before and and have been in this spot before. So it's like, we're going to kind of give you the rules. It's like when you play a video game, right? You know, no matter how open world the game might be, there's still kind of a flow to the game. There is still a tutorial kind of period, right? I would like to say that, if anything, this whole energy, July 13, 1970, this was like the tutorial being written for the battle that's to take place. Because as you can see, Chiron did open up the door, but kind of essentially what Chiron is, Chiron opened up the door, and we looked at what was inside, and we're like, nah. It was like, nah, I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet. But right now, what's happening? Let's go back to current day. Let's see. How do I do that? There's a way to do it where I can just go back to the now. There we go. Okay, here we go. Show current transits. But as you can see right now, what's happening? We have all of this energy built up in Aries and Taurus, and in many ways, I like to see this as literally a new island being born, like new land being born, like out of the water. You got to think all this energy was in Pisces, then you get that fire energy with Aries, and then Taurus is the land. We're embarking onto new land, into new territory, if you will. And as this energy shifts forward, what you're going to see, this is the big boss battle that I'm talking about. That's why, and this week's going to be kind of interesting too, because it's going to spark a lot of different conversations. The moon is going to go over the North Node. The moon is going to go over Mars, which Mars is afraid to kind of go into Cancer. Not afraid, but just not really prepared to, because Mars doesn't like to be there. Mars isn't very strong in Cancer. Not that you can't get anything done in Cancer, but it's just not that strong there. So, as I said, as we move this forward, you're going to see Chiron hit that 10-degree mark on Sunday. And this will be, in many ways, I see as the third or fourth Sunday in a row that has had some major astrological implications. Like, it's like each Sunday we're getting some, like, whether it was whether it's the new moon or it was Easter, or even I think the week before has some interesting energy going on too. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening on Sunday, the day of the sun. So as this happens, and as these energies begin to shift into Taurus, which in many ways is like opening up a door and going into a new space, and Taurus is physical earth, and in many ways I like to see it as manifestation and how we do manifest and bring things into our life. What you're going to see on the next day is that as these energies, the sun's right there. Let's move this forward, like I said, to that moment when the sun enters into Taurus. Bam. The moon will be at 25 degrees opposed Pluto in Capricorn. Here is the kicker. If you are completely, I'm saying completely, because we do have an emotional guidance system, and it does serve us. But in this moment, I would say, if you are completely led by your emotions in this moment, you're not going to win this boss battle with Pluto. And here's the thing. Since Pluto is in Capricorn, and Pluto's already in many ways destroying and restructuring society and stuff like that, especially here in America, there are going to be people that really lead with their emotions during this, and you're going to see probably some people writing some insane headlines or getting all emotionally riled up and stuff like that. But when they face off against Pluto, I'm sorry, but the moon, while it loves to be in Cancer and it rules Cancer, it's not going to just beat Pluto by itself. You're not going to be able to face off against looking at the destruction of our society as we know it, and how we know it. We're becoming more aware of this, that it is changing and rapidly transforming forever. If you just lead solely by your emotions, and that's the only way that you do it, then you are not going to win this boss battle. You need to employ some of the other aspects of your consciousness, guys. So that's what's important here. Now we have all this grounding energy. I almost like to see Taurus as right now. I almost see it as the home base, right? So the moon's going to be leading the charge as all these energies shift into Taurus, leaving Chiron behind. Now, here's the cool thing about it is that if you were to say, here's the thing, is that we're getting ready for the boss battle, going up against Pluto. And this boss battle, I really almost like to see it as sort of like a trial boss battle, you know? Like, I think Pluto is definitely not going to go easy on us, but at the same time, Pluto's not just going to try and kill us either. Right? It's crazy too. I'm a Scorpio citizen, right? So, like, you know, here's the thing though. We're going to have to dig deep. We're going to have to dig deep in order to really come out. And this boss battle, it could be literally, it could be just a challenge that pops up in your life, right? Or you may actually have a dream where you actually like take down some giant boss in like a freaking cave or dungeon or something like that. But this is going to require us to dig deep. We're going to have to dig deep into our Mars energy. We're going to have to go back into our Mars energy. Mars will be in Gemini, 27 degrees, making a quincunx to Pluto. Mars has a different kind of angle on Pluto than the moon does, even though it's a little awkward. It's almost sort of like getting in position to do like a sort of sneak attack. But Mars is heading into Cancer. Mars knows that. So Mars is wondering like, oh, am I going to be strong enough? Am I going to have enough energy to do this? You know, am I going to are all my actions going to be dictated by my emotions and stuff like that? You know, how do I know when it's okay to act like that? And how do I know when it's okay to, you know, do something a little bit more on the logical side? Then we have the North Node there, which is essentially all of our angels and guides telling us that you're okay. We're guiding you. We're helping you. But sometimes we don't have faith. Uranus is in Taurus. Oh, man. At 10 degrees as well. At 10 degrees as well. So as Chiron shifts to 10 degrees, Uranus shifts to 10 degrees. You're talking about a quantum leap, right? We're talking about Uranus is like, we've already manifested the new world. We've already manifested the new world, you know? So it's like, no matter what you say or do, we're not going back. You may not like that answer. Venus is in Taurus. Oh, Venus just wants us to chill and hang out in the field with flowers and stuff like that. You know, it's going to be all good. It's going to be okay. Just relax, calm down, chill. You know, don't worry about it. It's okay. You know, don't fret this giant ogre thing. It's like you really, I almost want to see Venus as sort of like the healer. It's like as we come up to this point where the moon is about to oppose Pluto, and we realize that we are gearing up for this boss battle. But if you're watching this video, you're going to win it. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now. You're going to win this boss battle. It may not feel like it, because it may feel like you want to run back home or run back to the barracks and run back to Venus so she can heal you up. And then you get to Sun conjunct Mercury at 0 degrees of Taurus. So we're going to come into this stark awareness of Taurus energy, of our value, at the core of our value, because it's 0 degrees. What do you want to create in your life? Based off of your value system right now, what do you want to create? What have you created based off of your current value system, and how can you change that? And if we dig back a little bit deeper, we will see that we have opened the door with Chiron, and we have actually stepped through that door. It's almost like we're going to be like going all the way back to our roots and realizing I did open this door. I had the courage to open this door and walk through it. And now I'm here. And then we're going to go all the way back into the dungeon. We're going to go all the way back. It's like going back to 10 degrees of Chiron. It's like going back to the title screen. It's like you get to the boss battle, you get there, and you sort of like, hold on, you just pause. And you take a deep breath. And it's okay to pause and take a deep breath. You pause the game, or you save. It's like you save the game, and then you go back to the title screen. And you just sit there and like, am I ready for this? Am I ready to step into my path? Am I ready to step into my purpose? Yes, beloved, you are absolutely ready to step into your purpose. It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be a bit of a challenging week. We have all this energy at the end of Aries, so things are going to come to a head, especially on the global scale in many ways. And then it's going to seem like it quiets down. It's going to seem like it just slows down as it hits Taurus. clearing their first boss battle. And here's the thing, though, about Chiron at 10 degrees either, is that it's an evolution. But we're not evolving, and this is the other important reason why you don't want to lead with your emotions either. You don't want to lead fully with your emotions with this boss battle. You want to employ a little bit of logic, a little bit of awareness, a little bit of faith, a little bit of all these other aspects of your consciousness. It's because Chiron didn't shift to 20 degrees, it shifted to 10 degrees. So my friends, this is a middle stage evolution, okay? This is like Charmander evolving into Charmeleon, not Charizard, Charmeleon. So you got a power buff, but this isn't your final form either. You don't have the wings yet. You don't have the firepower of Charizard. Not yet. But the moon in Cancer will have you wanting to feel that you are a Charizard right now. But here's the thing. You will be able to defeat this boss even as a Charmeleon. Believe it or not. Because Pluto sets up challenges in our life, and Pluto likes to set up boss battles, but Pluto's also in many ways is not going to give us, the universe is not going to give you anything that you can't handle, truthfully, right? I actually am a firm believer that no matter how big the challenge is, you can overcome it. So even though you're a Charmeleon and you may be going up against a fully evolved Pokemon, doesn't mean that you can't win. But if you go into that battle trying to fight like a Charizard and trying to fight like something that you're not, trying to be something that you're not, in other words, inauthenticity, if you're going into this boss battle and you're inauthentic to who you truly are, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to have a good time. So play to your strengths. You have evolved, but this isn't your final form. And that's amazing because you have already manifested so much. And some of you guys almost feel guilty that you have done so. And you almost feel guilty for being happy and where you are right now. Because you're being told that you necessarily shouldn't feel that way. But I'm telling you that it's okay to feel that way. That you are beautiful, that this isn't your final form, but you are a fucking boss yourself, and that you will get through this boss battle. It's going to be an intense week as all these energies shift into Taurus, leaving Chiron behind, the wounded healer, but you have healed. You have already healed these first 9 degrees when it comes to the Aries energy. So congratulations. You made it. Okay? You opened the door. And this is just the first of many boss battles to come over the next year. And we face boss battles all the time. You know, I'm using video game lingo, but hopefully you guys get the lingo and stuff. I really just wanted to share that with you all. Like I said, even though the moon's going to be in Cancer, it's been tough for the moon in Cancer because every time it goes there, it has to oppose some crazy energy. It has to either oppose, it had to oppose Saturn, it had to oppose Jupiter, it had to oppose Pluto. It's been having to do that for a while now. So the moon hasn't really been able, we haven't really been able to get emotionally reset for a while now. But this boss battle this week is going to give a lot of us so much courage and bravery. And not only that, but it's going to give us evidence that we are guided, that we are protected, that we are loved, that we are manifesting, and we are moving forward into a new and beautiful world. It's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to take a little bit of effort. It's going to take a little bit of going against the grain. Your health bar might dwindle down. You may have to keep filling yourself up with potions, but you will beat that boss. You will take on that challenge, and you will rise victorious. I can assure you of that, my friends. So 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty good time to get off. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I don't even really know what to call it. I guess like an astro transit report. I mean, I used to try and do weekly videos and stuff like that, but I really get more excited when I like see something and I just really want to talk about it real fast. So I saw this yesterday, and I kind of just slept on it. It was kind of interesting because in my dream I was like in a race. And there was this moment in the race where, like, I was ahead, then I had to go back, and then I had to catch back up. And I went all the way from 6th place to 2nd place, and then I fell off of a bridge and then I couldn't get out of like this weird little cage or something like that. And that's where I woke up. I was like almost there. And maybe that first place person is the challenge or the boss or the whatever that I had to defeat. Who knows? Maybe I'm just racing against myself. That could be another thing too. But, in any event, I think this is going to be a very powerful week for breakthrough. So thank you so much, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. This is Astro Fenixx signing off of Mystical Illuminations. And I will see you all very, very soon. Y'all have a lovely, blessed day. Peace.